Hello everyone, this is Robert. Good to be with you again. Hope you're all well. I've got another game for you from 50 years of chess, and coming into 51 years of chess very shortly. Now, this game, I'm playing a guy from Latvia. For those of you who wonder where that is over by Russia somewhere. And it's not a big country, it's not a big population, but they can't produce good chess players. And one of them was Mikhail Tal, former world champion. He was from Latvia. And this gentleman I'm playing today, his name's Aivars Skuja, or Skuja. He's an arena international master like myself, and he's a very good player. I've very rarely come across playing people that are older than myself. I'm 73, this guy's 83. Mr. Skuja, 83, and still plays really well. I've a good friend of mine, American international master James Sherwin. He's even older, and he still plays very strongly. So, a little bit of information about Aivars Skuja. His over-the-board rating at present, not internet, but actually over-the-board playing face-to-face, is still very strong. 1920 standard, 1890 rapid, 1942 blitz, 1943 during the war. Is on here in arena is his bullet rating is 1987, his blitz rating is 1767, and his rapid, which we played today, was 1718, which is higher than myself. And in June 2000, he had a Fide rating of 2308. That's Federation Master strength. Not over. That's over the board. He may not have had the title, but he certainly had the rating to be up there with Federation Masters. So now we'll go to the game. And this game was played about 30 minutes, 35 minutes ago. And I thought I will put this one on because I always like to pay respect to older players, especially myself at that age and older, because they've been around a long time and maybe don't get the recognition they deserve. And I want to give you this gentleman's game. It's not so much for me, but for him, so that you can still see at the age of 83 that he's a very good player. Now, I was playing white in this game, and I began with d4, and he replied with knight f6. Now, I wanted to play my usual game with knight c3, and he played d5. And normally, after I play bishop g5, black plays something like e6 or something like that. But he played bishop f5. I haven't come across that one before. I'm not saying it's not normal. I'm just saying I haven't played it. So I had to think about this. So I carried on as normal with bishop takes knight, e takes knight, and then e3. I'm just playing a quiet game because he's high rated, and I'm just looking to get some points. 18. So he played bishop b4, pinning the knight, which is a nuisance, but it's not something I'm concerned about. I've doubled one of his pawns, and if he plays bishop takes knight, fine, I get a bishop for a knight, I'll be happy with that. So I've played bishop d3, just carried on normally, and he played queen to d. I can play knight e2, and I don't get no doubled pawn. So first of all, I swapped off bishop takes, queen takes, and then knight from g1 to e2. He played c6. Okay, and I cancel. And then he played his knight to d7. So he's almost caught me up now. He's only got a castle and he's just one tempo behind. So I'm going to go back with my knight because I want to play knight to d2 and then to f3 so as to support that h pawn, because he could easily drop his bishop back to d6 and push the pawns on the my king side, and he would get an attack going and become quite active. So that's my plan. So he did play h5 first, and then I brought my knight into d2 as I said I wanted to do. Then he pushed the pawn again, which I can't allow to go any further. So I pushed my h pawn up to prevent any more advance by that h pawn. And now he's dropped his bishop back to d6 as I said he would. So this is good. I'm able to read the board and see and to analyse what he's trying to do. So very important when you're playing chess that it's not just about you. It's two of you playing, and you have to realise that he's trying to beat you as well as you're trying to beat him. So you must try to keep up with what he's planning to do. This is what chess really is all about. This is the secret of chess. Understanding your opponent, what he's trying to do, and counter it, and even play attacking moves of your own. But just be careful of what your opponent's doing so that he won't beat you. So I played knight f3, which is what I wanted to do. That protects that h2 pawn. And he's dropped his knight back to f8. This is an interesting move. I'm expecting him to go maybe knight to e6 and then maybe push g5, and it's looking quite good for him actually. So I think I want to get the queens off, because if I can get the queens off, then that takes the major sting out of his attack. His queen is on my king side. It's near my king, nearer than my queen is to his king. And so if I can swap them off, this is pretty equal. So he chose to go back to g6 with his queen. I kind of understand that. It makes sense, because after queen takes, he can develop his knight. So I thought about it and I decided that I would take his queen, because regardless whether it develops his knight or not, I need to get it off the board. So I did that, and he's returned with his knight. So now I've gone back to d2 because I no longer need to protect the h7 square from the bishop and the queen, and I want to try and decide whether to push my f pawn but which would leave holes on g6 and e4. So I've got to be careful about f4. More likely c4, which is quite good, I think. So he castled, and I played c4. This is good. If I can open that now with pawn takes pawn, rook c1, then this is fine. Now he's pushed this f pawn. He wants to unload that f pawn with f4 probably. So I went pawn takes pawn, rook on a to c1 check, and he played king b8. Now at this point, I was disconnected from the game on the internet, and I had to bring the game back, and I think I must have touched my rook or something, which made it an automatic move, and it went back to where I came from, to rook a1, which completely annoyed me. When I got back into the game, I realised that the rook had gone back to a1, which is sad, because I wanted to play rook c2 and rook f2 c1 and get a nice control of that c square. But this is giving him now a tempi, and he's pushed that pawn on. And so I took with the pawn, and he took with the knight. I took with the knight, he took with the bishop, and I played knight back to f3. This is just giving him an edge because that bishop is now covering the c1 square, which means he can get his rooks down on that open file, and I can't counter it. The only thing my knight is doing, what is important, is this defending the c4 pawn and making him defend his h4 pawn. So yeah, he's gone rook c8. I knew this was coming, so I had to decide what to do. And I come up with a plan of playing knight back to e1, trying to go to d3 if he played rook c2, attacking the b pawn. And then if he played rook d2, attacking the knight, so that if it moved he can take the pawn on d4, all I have to do is bring my rook on f1 or a1 to d1 and my knight's safe. But he didn't come down, he came down to c4. So now I'm expecting him to double those rooks, almost certainly, because he's attacking that pawn. And I have a decision to make. Do I play rook to d1 to defend it, or do I play knight back to f3? It's going to be a problem for me. So I did play rook d1 and decided I'd wait and see what he does. So he saw this and he played his bishop back to d6 first. So now I can't play knight d3 because I don't have the move I wanted. I can't do it because you take the pawn with the rook. So I had to have a little think, and I decided I would go back knight f3. At this stage, there's no winning chances here for me, and there's not really that many for him. If there's any, not really. It's looking quite drawish, but it's maintaining that situation that it remains this way. Rook c2 to attack that b pawn. So now I just play rook d2, and that defends it completely. I was expecting rook on c2 to go back again, but it took rook takes rook, knight takes rook. So that's his main active piece off the board, and that's really good because now this is defendable. If he comes with the other rook, I can just use the rook and knight to defend those pawns. So he's played rook c8, and I played rook b1 in anticipation of him playing rook c2, which is what he did. So I went back knight f3, so the rook's defending the b pawn and the knight's defending the d pawn. This should be drawn. He played bishop to e7. Now he could be thinking of playing bishop to f6, and then he goes rook to maybe c4, hitting twice, but then I can move the rook across to d1 anyway, so it wouldn't be a problem. So I played the king across. I felt it's time to bring the king into the game. I'm closer to the centre than what he is towards my pawn, so I've got my king moving. And maybe this is what he should have done at this stage, but he pushed the pawn on from g7 to g5. That doesn't concern me too much because unless he played the f pawn to f5 and then pushed the g pawn, then it would be a bit difficult. But he's not doing that, I don't think. I decided now just to drop the knight back. I've got to move something. I don't want to put a pawn on a3, because the moment I do that and I say play b4, then those pawns are open to attack from the black square bishop using his rook and his a pawn. So I've played knight e1. He's gone knight rook back to, he's played rook to f4. Now I just defend it rather than go f3. And now he attacks it twice, and I defend it twice. After he played bishop f6, I played knight f3. So then he comes back down, attacking the b pawn, which I defend. And at this stage, I offered him a draw, and he chose not to take the draw. He declined it and played bishop e7. So I went back with the knight, attacking the rook again, and he played rook d2, which is pointless as I can play knight s3 again. And so he went back to c2, and it was confirmed a draw by repetition of moves, where we'd been there 3 times in the same situation, and I got my draw, which I was happy to get. So it was a quiet kind of game, positional, but it needed accurate analysis to work out the best places to put your pieces at the right time. Sometimes you just haven't got a case where you can counter-attack and gradually you just got to dig in and defend. And if you can, make him see that there's nothing there for him and that a draw is the move. I think he ran out of ideas. He didn't know what to do, and maybe, who knows, maybe he's getting a bit tired. He's 83 after all. And so a draw it was. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, that there was something there for you perhaps to learn from, and how to play a defensive position when you have to, and making sure that the weaknesses that you have are covered. Like my b2 and d4 pawn were both covered. My knight and my rook were sufficient to just hold out, and where you can, keep swapping off pieces to make it difficult for your higher rated opponent to beat you. And so that was the game. Thanks for watching, and I'll be with you with another game very shortly. Bye.